back. So you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're not like using the whole program. You're using part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens? Well, you start to challenge yourself more. You start to be worried and afraid of just touching her leg. Listen, again, it should be really easy for you to understand. I smack her ass and she doesn't hate it, right? Now we're in bed and we're intimate right now, having a little bit of conversation or some quiet time. No problem. I'm going to put my hand on her leg. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife also wants all of this. She's told you numerous times, right?
Yeah. And I just got to have fun with it. I was talking to Dennis earlier this morning, and I told him about that. And he's like, well, if you touch her leg and she pushes away, say, oh, I'm sorry, babe. My hands are probably cold. I'll make sure I warm them up next time. You know, just try to have fun.
That works. That works.
Yeah.
I can live with that one.
Yeah.
All right. I think you know what you need to do, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So amp it up. Check. Have I been backing up on dates? Check. Am I being too afraid of her mood right now if I'm afraid to touch her leg? Check. How much fun am I being right now? Or am I being too scared that she doesn't like it right now? Like you're just in that low of the nice guy right now. Okay. Don't do everything when you're in your high. That's why we look like narcissists. Well, some of you look like I was. When you're high and you're love bombing, and then you get your low and you're scared. Don't. You have to be a lot more consistent if you want trust. Okay?
I guess I'm not used to having to put in all the work. I'm always used to her initiating and stuff, and now I got to do all the work. So I guess this is where I just have to get good at it and step up in this area.
Change your mindset here, though. Your wife doesn't make you do all the work. Your wife just wants you to do some work, to show up.
Yeah.
A lot of wives of the men in the program here are totally different. It is their turn. Your wife will do more. She's backing off the more you're not consistent. She's like, well, why would I? Because you don't, right? How long is this going to last? Well, that's what every man goes through, but it's really bad. It looks really bad, dude, if you use the program, the step-by-step guide that I give you, and then stop. It just looks bad because now you're giving her a whole lot more, right? You don't have your rage attacks anymore. You don't have your big anger and all that. So you replace yelling with not yelling and a little bit of good stuff, a little bit of great stuff, and then I'm going to pull back, and you're just on this baseline safety cushion of not yelling, right? Or pouting or sulking or running away. I think you're not doing that stuff anymore now too, correct?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot better at that. Correct?
Awesome. So yeah.
I'm definitely improving, but.
Yes, you are. And so I don't want to take that from you, but understand what your wife's thinking. You're giving her, presenting her baseline normal with a little bit of sprinkled sugar on top. That's all.
And then I take it away.
Yeah, then you just fucking blow the sugar off the cake and here you go. Eat this bland piece of like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to make sure you stay consistent. Yes, I'm very happy. You're still on the track at least. You're not in the pit stop. You know what I mean? You're still running the race. Now go get out in front of the pace car.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You got it. All right, Bill, go.
Yeah, I've really got to work on this consistency thing. I ended up in the victim triangle again last week and sat there and moped in it for a couple of days and finally came back around, got back into the reset. Well, I'd been doing the reset, but I doubled down on it, got back into reading the Bible, and it's amazing how quick things came back around. But it's just like you were telling Matthew, the consistency has to be there. I can't let myself find myself in the victim mentality anymore because Dawn picks up on that so quick.
Well,
she picked up on it so quick, and right then the ramming starts. So we've been doing pretty good over the weekend. Through Thanksgiving, I started coming back, and throughout the week, the rest of the week, it's been really good. But it's just that I gotta figure out how to keep my mind positive and not get sucked into that victim triangle.
Okay, let me just stress a couple of things. First and foremost, if you want your wife to trust you and follow your lead, then you have to be consistent. Every single man just needs to own that. Now, if you need to, remind yourself it will not always be like this. Soon you will completely understand and you will not go on these like this victim mindset. You'll just, what can I do? That'll become natural. Okay. You won't need somebody to hold your hand, to lift you up. You won't need to talk. You just know, what can I do? Am I proud of this? Right. Secondly, with the consistency, this is a little bit different with you than it was with Matthew. We're talking about leading. We're talking about showing up on the track, getting out in front of the pace car. This is different for you because you've got a very, very insecure wife. If you want her to trust you and ditch the insecurities, dude, you cannot afford to not be inconsistent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm finding that out. Yeah, I mean, it just takes one little instant, and things go south.
100%. So here's some things at the stage that you're at. Here's some things you could do. Go back and read your lover's list when you're feeling like a fucking victim. Remind yourself why you love her. Go write more on there. If you're not doing that every day anymore, or if you don't have, a shit ton on there, then get to work on it again. Get focused on what is important to you, first and foremost.
Right.
Then when you're thinking about, what could I do? Were you just defending yourself? Right? Or were you trying to understand what she's feeling? And only then can we deal with this boundary thing with her, right? Because she's got to do some work on this insecurity. There's only so much support you'll be able to give her, right? Okay? So don't beat yourself up because, again, here you are. We could, in the old days, we wouldn't have seen you for a fucking month. You know what I mean? You're just a few days here, okay? So your turnaround time is awesome. You're getting so much better at reflecting and figuring it out. One more question, did you go down any negative path? Like you probably got defensive, but did you like scream at her or anything? Any of that old shit?
No.
See, there you go. So
no, it was just being defensive and forgetting to lead.
Okay. It's not like you'll never defend yourselves, guys. Sometimes you have to, but there's just a better fucking way. It starts with not being defensive inside. It's called communicating through a hard conversation, right? It's not actually defense then. It's a conversation, right? Maybe you'll disagree. Remember the solvable problems thing versus unsolvable problems, right? Same sort of thing. But man, you've got to show up consistently first. Or else, what do you have here? I'm not yelling anymore. I'm not going to these anger binges. I'm not losing my shit for a week. Okay, that's all great. But what is that? It's still that baseline normal that I was talking about earlier, right? It's nothing special. You know what I mean? Okay?
No, it's basically just sitting in your own doubt and letting things roll. I mean, it doesn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, it does nothing. That's again. So you see, if you really want to break it down, go to those men on the social media who complain when I talk lessons like this. What are they doing? They're getting defensive. Is their life changing? Only if they fucking quit and go start over somebody else and rinse and repeat the same mistakes. But it's not really changing then, is it? We all know that. Some of you have been married a lot longer, but most of you did date at least a few times and saw the same patterns if you look backwards. Now that you understand, right? So it does no good. It serves no purpose. This doesn't matter if we're talking about your wife. If you want to defend yourself with your kids, no, you have to eat right now because otherwise you're going to be hungry later and we don't have time to stop. It's all just defending your knowledge to tell them what they're going to figure out that they're fucking hungry. You know what I mean? They're going to figure it out all on their own. You don't have to do this, right? So just focus more on who do I want to be rather than the aggravated. I'll take it away from you for a second. This actually happened with us yesterday. The girls were, one of them with Briar screaming blowing her mind off because she wanted more food. But she didn't eat lunch. I'm not going to go defend it while she can't even regulate herself, trying to figure out what to explain for her. She knows she's fucking hungry. Hopefully next time she has lunch when we eat it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay. Same sort of thing. But yeah, I want you to really write this down if you have to, man. It's really important if your wife is dealing with things like insecurity. Actually, it could be anything you want, really. Insecurity. It could be anxiety attacks. It could be depression. Like, these are all things that are going to make her need to trust you more because she's going to need extra support. Right? So you've got to be more focused on being consistent. Whatever that means to you, that might mean with better calendar. It might mean with more anxiety training and dealing with your emotions, right? There's lots of different things here, but another big one, like, Jeff, we'll use you as an example. Like you get really, feeling bad when you're rejected, when things are going well, and then she's just not into it, right? But both Jeffs, when you're talking about her being negative, Nancy, and getting a little bit mean, you've got to be consistent. You can't ride the roller coaster with her, right? So it doesn't matter what example we're using. Dennis, I'll use you too. If you're like talking about with your wife that you want, to go on these dates, but then you start going and she's not really down, she keeps inviting friends, and you don't get this structured the way that you want it to go, then she's not going to trust you, right? So it doesn't matter what example we're talking about. The consistency must be there. And then again, it's only hard while you're learning the skills. It's only hard while you have to think about things and undo the old programming. And then it's especially easy when she's on board with you. Okay? When you both have strengths and lift each other up. And the example I always like to use for you guys is simple. I tell you guys to plan all the dates, right? In my house, I don't. Catherine loves to plan all the dates. So right now, we're doing a little bit more than we should have to. But when you're in a reciprocal relationship, you'll each have strengths and you each lead in different areas, right? Hopefully this is making sense. Okay. All right. I have to get ready for another interview, guys, so I'm going to let you go. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And let me know if there's anything else, okay? All right. See you guys.
Recording.
All right. Thanks for coming, guys. See ya.